the confusion is, surely God could see our delusions, but is it that he doesn't choose to see us, or he doesn't recognize that as being our true nature? How is that so?
It's the fact that truth cannot deal with errors that you want. God cannot force you to see the truth when you want to see something else.
But he sees us kicking and screaming. Right?
God is not unaware that you are distressed, but he also knows that your distress is unreal and that your being is not threatened in any way by your thrilling and frightening imaginations.
Like a parent seeing his child be upset about the boogeyman.
Indeed. And like a father of a human child, God loves you with a nurturing love that is sufficient to convey to you the true state of peace that is yours. But if, like a child, you are so fascinated by the excitement of the terror that you're unwilling to let go of it, no matter how much comforting is provided, it won't be felt until you, like the child, withdraw your investment of energy in your reaction and your preoccupation with your imagination.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Yes.
I was trying to think this through. You, as you move around, you know things. I'm trying to give up my definitions. Thursday, on 3 different occasions, I almost stepped in front of a car, and I don't mean the same car, 3 times. So I was thinking, so what's up for me, even though I know that I and the car can be in the exact same spot at the same time, and both of us go our way, because we're both spirit.
Don't test that yet.
That's probably a good idea. But what's up now is trust, isn't it?
Until you can calmly sit at a counter or at a table and gently pass your hand through the table, don't step in front of a car.
Okay.
Don't test a natural capacity that you have under stress of that sort. Discover the capacity in the simpleness of a test, you might say, that you engage in your dining room, at your dining room table. Continue.
Okay, so bottom line, I guess what's up for me is, am I really totally willing, which is where I want to be, to give up my definitions? That the car can hurt me, or that this or that. I mean, that's what's up, right?
No, how about what's up at just being more conscious?
And not daydream so much?
Being more present with where you are.
Okay.
Be present with the intersection. Be present with where the cars are in the parking lot, so that you're not surprised from lack of attention that there's a car bearing down upon you. You don't have to go for the ultimate. Just be more conscious in every moment of your day.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I would like to continue for right now.
Should I read the heading? 5, beyond perception. I have said that the abilities you possess are only shadows of your real strength, and that perception, which is inherently judgmental, was introduced only after the separation. No one has been sure of anything since.
Yes, now, perception is what happens when you give an evaluation to an event in the kingdom of heaven. When you describe it in your own words, and those words do not reflect what the movement of God is there. You're at work. A fellow employee walks by calmly. His whole stance conveys that he's not ill at ease. While everyone else is disturbed about some event that has occurred within the office politics, we'll say. So here we have a Christ who has walked past, and you say, I never have liked that guy. Look at him. Swaggering his peace, showing how uninvolved he is. I really don't like that guy. You see, that's a perception of a Christ, an unmoved Christ who's in his peace. And I'm going to say, for this example, that he knows better than to get upset. And so he's staying in his peace so that he can more effectively deal with what everyone else is reacting to. Someone else seems always to do the right thing and is always kind. A good person. And those around him think he's flaunting his goodness, and they can't stand him. You see my point? A perception is a description you apply to something in the middle of the kingdom of heaven that doesn't illuminate the truth that it's something or someone in the middle of the kingdom of heaven.
So it illuminates your misperception, really.
What does?
It shows you your misperception. Well, it doesn't show it to you, but it demonstrates your misperception.
It demonstrates that you are perceiving rather than knowing. That you are seeing what you choose to believe rather than having the direct experience of what is really divinely going on.
Okay.
And so in this sense, perception means misperception. Continue.
I have also made it clear that the resurrection was the means for the return to knowledge, which was accomplished by the union of my will with the Father's.
And here, knowledge, as I've used the word, means the same thing as knowing with a capital K. Because when you have abandoned self-will to unite with the will of the Father, by desiring to know of the Father what truth is, then you have available to you the experience of knowing the truth, not having a perception of truth, but knowing it from the tips of your toes, from the ends of the universe. Continue.
We can now establish a distinction that will clarify some of our subsequent statements.
Okay.
Since the separation, the words create and make have become confused. When you make something, you do so out of a specific sense of lack or need. Anything made for a specific purpose has no true generalized
Ability.
When you make something to fill a perceived lack, you are tacitly implying that you believe in separation.
Because, of course, when you're joined with the Father, it's impossible to experience anything such as lack.
The ego has invented many ingenious thought systems for this purpose. None of them is creative. Inventiveness is wasted effort, even in its most ingenious form. The highly specific nature of invention is not worthy of the abstract creativity of God's creations.
Now, just as a little tidbit of information, when you turned away from the Father, when you turned away from the altar, and you became preoccupied with the form, the infinite form of creation, but minus the Father's perspective, and form seemed to be transformed from spirit into matter, and eternity seemed to be transformed into time and space. You found yourself, apparently, on the earth, with a moon orbiting around it, and other planets orbiting around your sun, and all of this, from God's perspective, from a true perspective, is simply part of the infinitude of you. But, having turned away from the altar, and spirit having been transformed into matter, and eternity into time and space, your infinitude seemed to be separate from you, all physical objects. And so, ingenious inventiveness had to be developed to find a way to get to the moon. And additionally, in order to move yourself through space, you had to employ something called force. Rocket engines, but nevertheless, force. Enough force to be able to overcome the gravity that holds you on the earth. When, truly speaking, if you hadn't turned from the altar and spirit had not been turned into matter, apparently, and eternity had not been changed into time and space, all you would have had to do would be to shift your attention from earth to moon, and you would be there because it's all in you. Earth, moon, planets, stars, galaxies are all resident in the mind that you are, because mind is the ground of your being. The body is not the ground of your being. You are observing everything with your mind even now while you think you are viewing it from your body. Do you see what I'm getting at? The minute spirit was translated into matter, you all became subject to what you subsequently decided were the laws of matter, which you call physics and call a science. But at this moment, none of you are bound by those laws because those laws are imaginary, and force is not needed to get from here to there, whether it's from home to work or from Earth to the moon. I bring this out so that you will not give as much credibility to the laws of physics, and so that you might come to understand the power of mind, which involves no force whatsoever. It takes no energy to shift your attention from one idea to another, does it? Likewise, it takes no energy or force to be present, intimately present with the surface of the moon, and then instantaneously present with the surface of the earth. Because the only thing that has to shift is attention, not matter. Yes.
Right now in theaters, there's been a real concentration of movies around things like, like Spider-Man, supernatural powers. The Hulk is coming out. Matrix, which shows Neo as not being bound by physical laws anymore. Is this, in the human psyche, is there a deep knowing of what our real nature is that gives rise to this kind of
Well, of course
thinking?
there is. But it's not deep in the human psyche, because the word human is only a definition that has been given to the divine one that is a Christ. So deep within you, the only one there is of you, you know the truth.
And so that's the fascination.
And the disowned part of you is called the Holy Spirit, which is always taking every opportunity it can to turn your current limited perception into a better perception, and thus turning every situation to your advantage. And so, yes, you are going to find more of these movies and more events occurring that will trigger the remembering, because the remembering is bringing forth the triggers.
So it becomes a spiral in momentum. As the memories bring about the triggers bring about more memory, etc.
Indeed, it's self-affirming.
Spontaneous.
It's self-affirming with a capital S. Yes. It's none of it is magic at all. And none of it is supernatural. It's just the truth, registering a little bit more openly. In a way, you could say that you are in a time when closet Christs are beginning to come out of the closet. Discomfort with what one truly is not as strong as it was. And a great many are finding the courage to embrace what they deeply know. from what they deeply are, but have kept hidden from themselves. And, as I've been saying for the last few weeks, the call here is for those of you who are aware of this to make a choice for glorifying God by embodying God in the world, in words and in deeds. I'm saying, come out of the closet. Declare yourself. Okay.
Knowing, as we have already observed, does not lead to doing.
And why? Because knowing is the awareness that everything is already done. Not done in the past. When you know what God is being, and I'm using the word being as a verb, when one knows as a direct experience what God is being, one knows that there is nothing needing to be done to it. And if there's anything needing to be done, it is in this sense, that you stay on the leading edge of the wave of the movement of creation, so that as the, quote, "Behold, I make all things new," unquote, continues eternally. You are present for the fullness of what God is being as the knowing of it. So that the experience of knowing is ever fresh. In this sense, knowledge can never be applied to the past. Knowledge cannot be acquired and saved. Knowledge is the direct now experience of the movement of creation that God is being and that you are inseparable from. Continue.
The confusion between your real creation and what you have made of yourself is so profound that it has become literally impossible for you to know anything.
And what makes it confusing is the vehemence with which you are committed to what you have made and your unwillingness to disown it, your unwillingness to abandon your makerhood, the unwillingness to abandon the credit you think you deserve and have gotten for the skill with which you've made whatever was made. It's a self-love that stands in the way, and it is a love of a self that has existence only in your imagination. Continue.
Knowledge is always stable, and it is quite evident that you are not.
Continue.
Nevertheless, you are perfectly stable as God created you.
Nevertheless, you are perfectly stable as God created you. In other words, you recognize that you are experiencing instability, but it hasn't changed what you truly are. Your belief hasn't changed what God created right there and is being right there where you are. Therefore, in spite of the instability you're experiencing, you are perfectly stable as God created you, or as God is being you at this instant. Continue.
In this sense, when your behavior is unstable, you are disagreeing with God's idea of your creation.
Continue.
You can do this if you choose, but you would hardly want to do it if you were in your right mind.
Yes. Truth cannot deal with errors that you want. So if you want an error, you can do so if you choose. You have complete permission. But you would hardly want to do it if you were in your right mind. Oh, Daddy, won't you please make me do it? Won't you kick my butt and bring me into line? No. No. Each of you has to choose for your sanity yourself. Your insanity hasn't altered the truth about you in any way. But you've chosen to be willful, and you have to abandon the willfulness yourself. It's simple. Unfortunately, it means you can't be enticed back. You can't be coerced. You can be invited. But manipulation, no one of us who is awake will waste our time attempting to manipulate your mind and coerce you. Because if we do that, your egos will recognize the coercion and will turn the dynamic into its game, and it will say, okay, I'll take 10 steps in this direction. But not without making a bargain with you. Or not without holding you responsible for any distress I might experience on the way. And so there's no willingness there. It just emphasizes the game playing and further establishes the ego dynamic. Nevertheless, if you want to be committed to an illusion, do it. Do it, sure. But you would hardly want to do it if you were in your right mind. Yes.
Can you help me to better distinguish when I am not listening? Is it just the experience of that subtle loss of peace?
Yes, subtle and not so subtle.
Right.
But you can put a note on your refrigerator